Hey folks, how's it going? Welcome to a new vlog and a new week. Ooh, what's this hair doing? It was fine a minute ago. I am still using, this is like my second or third time using this mic. I don't know if it's working. I don't know if you can hear her suddenly throwing a fit, but hopefully this still helps with the sound. I don't know if you can hear, come here. I don't know if you can hear all of the background noise. It is so nice outside. I don't think it's 70 degrees outside yet, so we have all the windows open and doors. So if you can hear like the birds and yeah, and that and the rooster. I hope it's not annoying. Sorry, not sorry. I love it. Yeah, you want to tell them? You're still in your jammies. You're still in your jammies. You want to go see your doggies? Just a second, guys. So today I need to preserve some tomatoes. It's cherry tomatoes. So what I like to do with cherry tomatoes, because you always have an abundance and there's way more than you can eat, and I would rather brush my teeth with a liner paintbrush than peel all of these tomatoes. I'm sorry. I don't know if you can hear her or not with this mic. We'll find out, I guess. I recorded this once, but I didn't have the mic and the audio wasn't great. So hopefully this time around it's a little bit better. And if you can't hear her, it's going to probably be even more weird because she's just like having a whole conversation. But anyway, so what I like to do with cherry tomatoes is I roast them whole until they burst at 425. A lot of people will tell you like 20-ish minutes. Roast them until they burst and you have your desired caramelization. I don't let mine get too caramelized because I'm going to cook them again when I make a soup. When I thaw them out, like in the fall and winter. Yes, I will. But anyway, so I've got a whole bunch of cherry tomatoes, and I just do this in batches as cherry tomatoes come on. Basically, when I can fill up a sheet pan, that's when I roast them all. It is. So, oh my. Okay, so I've got my oven preheated at 425, ready to go. I'm going to throw the cherry tomatoes on a sheet pan with some high temp oil and salt and pepper. You can go ahead if you want to and roast like an onion, a bulb of garlic, some bell peppers or whatever with the tomatoes. I'm going to do that later because I never know what mood I'm in. So when I go to make the soup, I will for sure roast an onion and probably a bulb of garlic on their own when I go to make soup later this fall and winter with the roasted tomatoes. But I might not necessarily use all of the tomatoes I roast all for tomato soup. So I like to have options, like I might use them in like a goulash or a chili or something like that, and where I want a different flavor profile. So I just do oil, salt, and pepper and call it good. Label my freezer bags and freeze them flat like I showed you how to do with the peaches. And I can't remember if I showed you to do that with blackberries or not, but you do the same thing with blackberries. Freeze them flat, and that way you've got freezer space. So I'm going to go ahead and get going on that. Hey guys, it is a voiceover, so you know what that means. I got all of this accomplished during the nap time. Um, so here I am just slicing up some cucumbers for pickles. I made bread and butter pickles, and I just follow the recipe that is on the Mrs. Wages bread and butter pickle packet. So to run through that real quick, it's 9 to 11 pounds of cucumber sliced up, 6 3/4 cup of distilled vinegar. Excuse me. Make sure you get the 5% acidity. Up until recently, it wasn't really commonplace to be able to get more diluted vinegar, but you can at most grocery stores. So make sure it's 5% acidity, because if the percentage is any lower, your food will go rancid, and you don't want to do all of that work and then have your food go rancid. So there's that. 6 3/4 cup of vinegar, 7 cups of sugar, and then the pouch of Mrs. Wage's bread and butter pickle mix. You just throw that into a pot and stir over like medium heat, and stir it and stir it and stir it until all that sugar is dissolved, and then it's ready to go. And here I am just packing my jars with cucumbers. I sliced up right at 9 pounds of cucumbers, and I got 8 quarts with that. So I'm packing my jars, and I mean pack them. Like, you see me shoving the cucumbers in there. That's what you want to do. You want your jars packed. Obviously, you don't want cucumbers spilling over the top of the jar. That defeats the purpose, but you want your cucumbers packed in your jars. So I've just done that. I'm going to keep doing that. La la la. Here we go. And oh, my jars I've sterilized in my water bath canner. I've just let them steam until I need to use them, and then I pulled them out and let them cool off a little bit. You always want to make sure your jars are sterile before you use them. Make sure everything is as sterile as you can possibly get it before you can, because you want to make sure that, one, your food doesn't go rancid, and two, your jars seal. So just packing these jars up. There they are, all packed. They're so pretty before I put the liquid in there. And then you just ladle the liquid in until you've got about a ½ inch of headspace. And here I am. I've just put a little vinegar on a paper towel, and I'm wiping the rims of the jars because I want to make sure that that's very clean and give my jars the best possible chance of sealing, which all 8 jars sealed. So that was very exciting. And then I've also sterilized my lids and my rings. I think I mentioned this in a previous vlog, but like I said just a minute ago, you want to make sure things are as sterile as possible when you're doing this, because you do not want your food to go rancid. It's such a disheartening waste when you've done all of this work and you've made your kitchen a disaster and you've worked hours doing this, and then you go to pull something out in a few months and it's rancid. That is just the worst. So a lot of work up front makes for an easy fall and winter. But anyway, just going to put lids and rings on these jars. And when you put your rings on, you just want to make sure they're fingertip tight. So don't crank those lids on as tight as you can get them, but also they shouldn't be like wobbly or shaky or anything like that. Just fingertip tight is fine before you put them in the water bath canner. These, since they're quartz, I processed them for 20 minutes based off of the package instructions, and I added an additional 5 minutes for my altitude because I am a little bit higher above sea level. So I've just done that. The jars are going in the canner, and I'll just put the lid on in a second and let those process. And then in about 20 minutes or so, we'll have bread and butter pickles. They look beautiful now. I'm so excited about them. I can't wait to open up a jar here in a few days. Oh, something else though, real quick. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but with bigger jars like this, it's usually a good idea to, if you have this water bath canner with the rack in it, to pull the rack up after the processing time and just let those jars kind of sit above the steaming water for 5 or so minutes before you take them completely out. So it's not such a huge shock, especially if you keep your house at a cooler temperature. So here the jars come out of the canner, and oh, they're so pretty. I don't know if anybody else thinks that that's pretty, but I think it's just gorgeous. So I hope you enjoyed this week's vlog. That's going to probably do it. Might do a quick garden tour at the very end. I don't know yet. But just in case I don't do that, I hope you guys have had a great week and a good weekend ahead of you.